Welcome, toy fans, and welcome to another episode of Talking Toys, episode 19, where we'll be talking about trading cards and Star Wars. I'm Brock Lauer, your host, with my co-host,
Kyle Walters.
And good to have you all back. We're back, and it's good to be back. A little delay there with the podcast. Had to get new mics. I don't know if we sounded that much different, but we had to upgrade a lot of our equipment, as I said in a couple previous episodes. So it is great to be back. It's good to have you back, Kyle. You missed doing the podcast?
Oh, for sure.
But we did release some mini content and videos. Feel free to check them out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share to the channel. See all of our content, whether it's the shorts, podcasts, and just continue to grow the channel and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Get more involved. We really do need the subscriber count, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to comment and be part of the conversation for toys and everything. Your opinion does matter to us. We want to read some of your feedback and see what you have to say. So make sure to do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. You know, we're an independent toy podcast, and we don't have any ads, and we pride ourselves without having any commercials or anything like that. So just make sure to support the channel. So we're glad to have you with us. And now starting with some updates, we got some new Marvel Legends that came in this past week. New reveals include this new Iron Man wave, which has the modular Iron Man armor, the Vault Guardsman figure, Stealth Iron Man armor figure with Tony Stark head sculpt, blast effects, and interchangeable hands, hologram Iron Man, the Ultron figure, Ironheart with Riri Williams, Dark Star, and the Build-A-Figure is Ursa Major. That's that Iron Man line, which you'll get all those figures. All the Iron Man figures come with blast effects and I believe interchangeable hands. Also, another figure was revealed for the Infinity Wave line for Marvel Legends, which was Endgame Thor, which he will come with lightning effects and the regular Thor hammer and the battle axe hammer as well from the movie. And he's a fatter Thor, as he looked like the last final fight in Endgame. As well as a new Marvel Legends Quasar. This is all came out of Hasbro's Pulse Fan Fest. He'll come with some flame effects. So new Quasar figures coming out. We are also getting NECA TMNT Ultimate Pizza Monster figure. It's a 3-pack with Triceraton, Infantryman, and Roadkill Rodney 3-pack, Rat King and Venom 2-pack. New releases coming from NECA. Everybody's excited about those new TMNT figures as well. And also I know NECA is revealing something we've been waiting for a long time, such as those gargoyle figures.
Boom.
So that'll be an 8-inch Goliath figure coming out. Photos were released with that recently. It'll also be part of a wave, so it's not just a one and done. It's not an exclusive. It'll be available everywhere. It's an 8-inch action figure, a wingspan of 16 inches. It's full articulation, including wings and tail, and comes with plenty of accessories. And it comes with Pepper, a book, and interchangeable heads and hands. It should be shipping in July of 2021 of this year. And I will say, Kyle, this figure looks stunning. It really looks remarkable. It really looks incredible, really. I mean, it's just like, you've been waiting so long. And how many times have we said on this podcast that we wanted a Goliath figure? I mean, I know you were super excited about it.
Yes, I have been literally begging someone to pick up a license. And I wasn't sure, because I know sometimes licenses can expire, but I know in the 90s, Mattel had the original figures, and they didn't go as deep as I wish they would have, just looking back at it, but they did some really cool things. They had some vehicles.
Right.
They did a red Xanatos and all that stuff, and now it's like NECA literally, I've always said it, that in the same way that companies are really pumping out TMNT, Mattel did really successful with the He-Man Classics line. Now we got Super 7 with the Thundercats, like all of these 80s properties. It's because 80s kids are adults.
Yeah.
And now, us 90s babies are now adults too.
Yeah.
With adult money. So I figured someone would be like, see the dollar signs. And then NECA, since they do with horror, and they do the TMNT, so they do a lot of properties, I guess you could say, geared more towards adults. So now you got NECA doing the smart thing possible, where they just unexpectedly they didn't let anyone know,
Yeah.
and then they just released it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
And
and
it just kind of dropped. It was like a big surprise. It was.
and I know I saw it at work, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And it just, they waited for the reactions, and then you saw like all the people in the toy community were like, oh, this is awesome, can't wait, blah blah blah.
The reaction was like overwhelmingly positive. Because I think people like you and me were just constantly like waiting and waiting. And I don't know if people like NECA listens to the podcast, but it's like, how many times have we said on this podcast, why aren't they doing Gargoyles figures? Why aren't they doing Gargoyles? And what they released is, Gargoyles figure, but this figure, it's a good blend between realistic and cartoon.
Oh, they did a really good job. And then they have little subtle things, like they have the jalapeno in there from when Goliath was like, jalapeno?
Yeah.
They said they have 5 made.
Yeah.
And then they have more in the works. So
I mean, the possibilities are so endless.
I could be wrong, but if Goliath is first, it would lead me to believe that they probably won't make all of those, that Goliath's clan right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think the next person is either Xanatos or Demona. But then it's like, just thinking about little things, like they can literally, like, pretty much anything they're gonna make, or not pretty much, 100% anything they'll make, I will buy 2 of. One, I don't do these with lines, but I love Gargoyles so much. It's up there with me with Dragon Ball Z and Batman animated, Spider-Man animated, X-Men animated. Like, it's like my favorite animated shows.
Yeah.
They could do little things like, the number one figure I want is Xanatos in his red armor.
Yeah.
And then his other robots from the Steel Clan.
Yeah.
That's what I want, because I would have it.
That'd be like a good 3-pack and stuff like that.
Get it flying and whatnot. And then plus with the Steel Clan, people are going to want to army build that. It's just simple. You're going to want to army build it. You're going to want to have it like where Xanatos is flying. Like, the possibilities are endless. And then you can also, in not just with Xanatos in his red armor, you can have Xanatos too in a suit. Hell, I hope they make Owen. Xanatos is like essentially his version of Alfred.
Yeah.
Like, if they make Owen, and then I know you and I talked about it when it released, but like
you can make Macbeth, and you can make Demona, and you can make the cop. I forget the one with the cop.
Eliza.
Eliza, yeah.
I hope they make them look like stone too. A smart,
that'd be cool
I know molds can be expensive.
But you just repaint it gray.
Exactly. So all you got to do is add texture to it and make it aesthetically.
Just make it articulated. And maybe give me like a base of some kind or something. I don't know.
I definitely think for me though, my tops would just be easily, number 1 would be Red Clan armor Xanatos. I think number 2 would be probably either Macbeth or Hudson.
Yeah.
I really like Hudson a lot. And then I think, then after that, number 3 would be Demona. And I would hope they would include Demona with like a gun that she can easily hold.
Yeah. I'm happy that am right in the middle of the series. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I thought they were going to go in the route of making them look like the TMNT cartoon figures, but I'm glad that they're doing this kind of blend that looks darker and more mysterious but realistic. So I do commend NECA for that, and I think these figures look so, I mean, just based off the Goliath one, it looks so damn good.
I ordered 2 off of Big Bad, and their prices on line was $32.
Yeah.
So NECA's price point, whether it's 30, 40, whatever, as long as they keep within that price point, I think that's really fair too, considering Goliath is so huge.
Yeah.
And you get an interchangeable face, some interchangeable hands. You get I can't remember the name, but you get the book he comes with.
Yeah.
And you get little jalapeno. I think for what they included, I think it's really fair.
I just like the fact that they said no exclusives. I'm like, good, done, simple. Right. And you know what? I think they noticed the exclusivity market is more trouble than I think they thought.
I know. I'm just incredibly excited about this Gargoyles line. It's like a dream come true. It's literally my favorite thing has come out in the past month.
And moving on to other releases, they're making a new Diamond Select Scarlet Witch figure from the TV show, along with the Marvel Legends one. New Marvel Legends White Vision figure. Lego is doing a kind of building kit head / helmet line, Carnage and Venom head. McFarlane is now releasing Snyder cut figures. Darkseid, Steppenwolf, Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman. Well, I think the Wonder Woman's already out, so I think it's the same Wonder Woman. Batman and the Flash, and you get two kinds of Darkseids. One where he has his armor off and his armor on.
You said you're thinking about the Darkseid and the Steppenwolf. With as much as we bash McFarlane, those do.
I'm probably not gonna get those.
Probably not get them.
Honestly,
They do look nice and tall, but at the same time, like it doesn't look like they come with any interchangeable hands or anything.
I'm just getting those Mezco figures. Oh, Mezco released a new 3-pack, Snyder cut 3-pack, Flash, Batman, and Superman, and his dark costume. The Superman will come with his laser eyes. Batman comes with multiple heads, multiple hands, and batarangs, and the Superman and Batman, folks, does come with a bendable wired cape. That's what sold me. So I got my pre-order. I don't pre-order anything usually, but they got me with the pre-order because I wanted the bendable capes. I got the interchangeable heads, interchangeable hands, grappling hook guns, Superman in the bendable cape with the laser eyes, and
the laser eyes are so cool. But yeah. I just wish. And you get I think NECA did the best laser eyes so far with their Homelander figure that they're coming out with, because they're longer, and I want longer laser eyes, but I'm nervous I'm going to have to pay an arm and a leg on the second market, but all I really want is that black suit Superman. That's it.
And then the Flash comes with lightning effects. So that's what sold me. Plus you get the stand. You just get so much for what you pay for.
They all do look really cool.
They do, and I just jumped on it because I enjoyed the movie so much. Have you seen the movie?
No. I unfortunately with school and work, I have not had the time.
I will honestly say that it's better than the first two Avengers movies. And now Hot Toys is releasing a Winter Soldier figure with the black arm from Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show. He will come with a machine gun and dagger and a figure stand as well. Other reveals we have is Lego's releasing a new helmet line. Star Wars.
I don't really collect Lego, but is that a probe droid I see?
Yeah.
No.
They have a probe droid, which isn't necessarily a helmet, but the entire probe droid, Darth Vader helmet, and a Stormtrooper, which is actually a Scout Trooper from Return of the Jedi. So all those are collectible, buildable helmets. Lego is constantly growing, constantly doing things. Check out my video on my top 5 favorite toy brands. Very interesting. Lego is amongst those. Check that video. But yeah, you're getting Darth Vader, which looks really badass, honestly, the more I look at it. And you get the Scout Trooper and Imperial Probe Droid. If you're a Lego Star Wars fan, the hits just keep coming. They constantly are doing cool things. Also, Marvel Legends is releasing a new John F. Walker Captain America Marvel Legend, Walmart exclusive. He is in his blue suit, as opposed to like the other version where he's kind of like in this grayish suit or whatever. And it comes with this new packaging, in this like very pro-American packaging, very interesting.
That's nice.
If you're watching the show, you'll find out more about his character as the show goes on. But it is a decent figure. It's Captain America-esque. Really cool the way they did it. Also, Marvel Legends releasing a new Spider-Man from the Spider-Man Retro line in the animated packaging. Doctor Doom's twin machine, Webman, is the opposite of Spider-Man in every way. And you can pre-order that now on Hasbro Pulse. Very interesting. He kind of looks red and blue, but kind of like reverse colors. Like where the red is the blue, and where the blue is the red. So he's kind of very retro looking, kind of trippy looking too. I don't know if you saw that one, Kyle, the retro looking Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't.
It just looks interesting, like a retro looking.
My first thought when I saw that was like, okay, but where's my Scorpion, Smythe, etc. Aunt May, Madam Web, anyone? Yeah. I was like, I don't give a shit about blue weird retro Spidey.
Also, Marvel Legends releasing a new Baron Zemo figure from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Still haven't seen that yet. I want to. Have you started it?
Oh yeah, I'm all caught up.
I heard
it's interesting.
I will admit,
It could be better.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. The show could be better. I wish it was a little longer, but like it's decent. I wish it was just a little better. We'll see how it goes.
Bringing Baron Zemo,
but it's good.
As a villain,
it is better than WandaVision. I'll say it's better than WandaVision.
WandaVision just bored me. Like
it was boring.
Some people are like, pull the whole Rick and Morty thing where they're like, oh, it's just because it's deep
I
and
mean,
it's
if you
intended for
like
smart
it,
people. But I was just like,
it was just
it's just
it didn't need to be that long.
it
I
was.
like the story, but it didn't need to be that long.
In some ways, I just thought it was really boring.
And our final updates for the day are new Star Wars Black Series figures, a new line coming out, and a new Lando from Return of the Jedi, Lando Calrissian figure, Koska Reeves figure from The Mandalorian. I couldn't see the names. Aura Singh from the Star Wars Clone Wars figure, Q90 figure from The Mandalorian. I think his name's just Tech, or Tech 4. I'm just going to call him Tech. Those figures are being released, so that's the new Black Series line. So before we get into our topic on trading cards, have you gotten anything interesting recently from your recent pickups, Kyle? Toy-wise? Toy hunting?
I picked up a Golden Age comic of Batman number 68 from the 50s.
Oh, cool.
And it's really nice aesthetically. Nothing necessarily really significant except that it's just an early Two-Face comic. McDonald's has some cool Star Wars toys. I only wanted the Vader and the Boba Fett, and I got them relatively quickly.
I'll have to check those out. I'm a big sucker for fast food toys.
Oh yeah, they're pretty cool. I love the Kingpin figure.
Oh yeah, you got the retro Kingpin.
Really fun. I actually prefer him with the purple pants.
Yeah, he's more gangster looking than that. Get up. Anything you're looking to get in the future that's immediate?
Mm-hmm. There are a ton of figures I'm really excited about. We'll bounce back and forth.
How about
we'll
give me 3?
Let's do 5.
Oh, okay,
I'll do 5, and we'll go one at a time. And I think that'd be fun to just do it one at a time. First one is easily the Sentinel Iron Spider-Man. That from their armor line.
Mm-hmm.
I have pre-ordered every single armored one, including the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Deadpool one.
Yeah.
And the Iron Spider just looks really cool. They've sold out of all 3 times they put up for pre-order, so as soon as I saw it, I had to jump on it. But just aesthetically, it looks really, really nice.
I'm probably gonna be getting the 75th anniversary Captain America shield, the one where he has that shield, not the one from the show that's out now, the Falcon Winter Soldier, but the shield from he uses in the movies, Captain America shield, 75th anniversary Marvel Legends one, the metal one, not the plastic one, the metal one. You could see it has the straps and everything, so I'll get those. Also I found a Infinity Gauntlet I like that has light up gems and it's flexible where you can actually snap your fingers. I think that's from toyarc.com. They have like the best. I did thorough research on all Infinity Gauntlets out there from the movie, and I like this one the best. It has the best reviews. The Hasbro one is nice. It just you can't snap your fingers. That bothers me. It's made out of plastic, and also it's actually made out of real metal, so which will be more authentic looking. Those are things I'm going to get, and some Harry Potter Legos, Star Wars Legos as well.
Next, the Where's Waldo deluxe 1/12 scale figure from Mega Hero, which I guess is a company based out of South Korea.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I didn't necessarily know I needed a Where's Waldo figure, but Where's Waldo is just such a fun property. The deluxe figures comes with the stand is probably one of the coolest stands ever because it's an actual Where's Waldo book.
Yeah.
Then he comes with like his dog, a magnet for like his backpack and stuff. Just like they have a standard release and a deluxe release of the 1/12. I got the deluxe. And then they have a 1/6 scale, which with a spinning base. It was just such a cool figure that I didn't know I needed, but now I'm just like so beyond excited.
Yeah, I mean they did it's like something you like. Oh yeah, they should make a figure of thing. He comes with his dog too.
Right.
Like it's. They'll come with other characters like the wizard and the girl with the glasses and the evil Waldo looking guy, and
I hope they continue, yeah, because and it's coming at a perfect time too. It's tentatively scheduled to be released in October.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah, and then there are also some other leaks that came out were a Falcon figure and a Winter Soldier figure from the show as well.
What about your second thing that you're really excited about?
I'm trying to think if there's any Marvel Legends. Well, that Iron Man wave
Had a lot of good ones.
had an interesting. Like I'm interested in that modular armor Iron Man, the one that looks like he's from the animated series.
Yeah.
That one I liked, and the Ultron.
The Ultron is the star of the show, in my opinion.
I think the MODOK is coming to stores pretty soon.
Yeah, I saw some with that.
Yeah, you're lucky I got you that Thanos. I have not seen another Thanos. It's weird because it's like you didn't get it that week, gone.
Really fun figure.
It's crazy.
Too.
It's
really
crazy.
Fun.
I mean, like if I didn't dog it to Target every other day, we would probably wouldn't have got those figures. I didn't see another one ever. I mean, unless you get them online. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying if you're a person that wants to just like, find them in person.
I know I'm excited for my Figuarts Raditz figures coming soon. That'd be another one I'm excited about. And then they're finally gonna do the Superman 5 points box set from Mezco. I don't really collect those reaction style figures, but it looks so cool. And then Ares from the Injustice video games is gonna come out too, which I'm very excited about. It's supposed to come out like hopefully in the next month or two because it looks incredible. It's from Storm Collectibles. But there's so many good pieces. With the Mezco style though, like the fact that it comes with the phone booth and stuff, and then they added all these like look at all these accessories it comes with. It looks straight out of like the 80s or 90s.
Oh yeah, the Mezco.
With like yeah, I think it's cool that Mezco's doing that. It's just I don't really collect those. Like I know they've done like the Scooby Doo, and then they did the Batman '66, which I love that show. It's so campy and fun. But the 1941 Superman thing was just so different. I just had to go for it.
Did you hear about that Mr. Hyde wave from Marvel Legends that came out? They build a figure of Mr. Hyde and it has the Shang-Chi movie characters.
Yeah, I don't necessarily care about that wave. The movie I'm sure will be great, but I feel like I don't know enough about the characters to really.
I can't remember who else is in that wave, but the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure looks really cool. His movie Shang-Chi, I can't find. I'm trying to think who's on that in that wave. I mean, the movie Shang-Chi. The Marvel Legend prices are going up too. The $23 price tag, that's happening. That's going to happen with like pretty much all Marvel Legends figures in the future from this year going on. All deluxes will be around like 30 some bucks probably. But yeah, you'll get the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. But I don't know the names of the characters. I know the Shang-Chi. There's the Shang-Chi villain. There's a girl. I'm trying to think who else, but I don't know the names of them. Yeah, it'll come with like a couple figures, but it's a Build-A-Figure Mr. Hyde. I do want to have a debate with you on this channel one time, like what's better, the Build-A-Figure or the Marvel Legends Deluxe. I'm gonna do that eventually.
That's tough.
I mean, I want to debate you in something
That's a toughie.
Two different sides of something. But there's an Iron Man in there as well.
That Iron Man wave still too. I know you and I were talking about it before this, but
we don't have enough Iron Man figures.
Hasbro, I need you to listen to the fans. We all want a Mandarin figure, like not a movie Mandarin, a comic Mandarin. It shouldn't be this hard. We haven't had one since Toy Biz released one in that 2-pack. You will make a killing on that figure. Screw it. Don't even make him contain a Build-A-Figure piece. Just make him 2 per case. You will sell so many of those figures. He is to Iron Man what the Joker is to Batman.
Yeah.
You can have some really cool fun painted on rings. You can have some cool effects.
Yeah.
Just give us a Mandarin figure.
I still need a classic Bucky. Still need a Blade with a motorcycle. Here's another one. How about Cap and Bucky with a motorcycle sidecar?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then even another one of my top 5 would be Smythe. I've talked about it so many times. And then Madam Web.
Man Spider.
Man Spider.
Yeah. How's that not happening? Yeah. What was another one?
Because they've done such a
classic Luke Cage. can't believe they haven't done one yet.
I'm surprised they haven't done Toad.
Oh, that should be coming. But yeah, you're right. They should do that one, and they should do well, yeah, Madam Web is a good one.
I would love to see.
War General Red Skull.
Yeah, I would love to see more of these. I know it's tough.
There's a lot you want to see. There's still a lot.
I loved how they did the Stan Lee, and you know what I would love? Because
I want to see alter egos.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They did a couple of them, but I want to see comic alter egos.
Honestly, getting Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane so far,
I want to see
is really cool. Oh,
and you got Jonah Jameson.
Oh, that's right. I still haven't bought that J. Jonah Jameson, and it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, that's great.
Aunt May.
Yeah, there you go.
Your little what is it? Your classic comics cover Mego style figures in the 90s.
Harry and Norman Osborn.
They have an Aunt
Tony
May
Stark
from that.
Bruce Banner. Henry and Janet or Van Dyne or whatever. And they haven't done a classic Wasp. That's another one. Like classic old school Wasp.
They really haven't.
There's a lot they still have to do. I mean, classic Doctor Strange. Gotta do that one.
Oh, like how the Mezco one that you and I love.
Yeah.
I think that Mezco figure is so underrated. I don't know if anyone will top it, but it's so nice.
They need to redo a movie Hawkeye. Give us a new Baron Zemo. Classic Baron Zemo. They should really do that. And maybe some more Hulk villains, probably. But okay.
Yeah, because we have what Hulk. As far as Hulk villains go, the main one only that I only personally know. The only two I've ever seen that really do are Abomination and the Leader.
Yeah. But moving on to our topic, such as we usually do, and we're going to be talking about trading cards. Most of us have been involved in some sort of trading card game, whether that's Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic cards or maybe something off a movie or. I did Harry Potter cards for a little while, but I also was mostly in Pokemon. I didn't get so much into Yu-Gi-Oh! Talk about our card trading experiences, talking about our stories, sharing stories of just what that was like. And I think the best time to do that is, why don't we just start off with Pokemon? I'm going to tell you how I discovered Pokemon. I remember some kid who was new to our school. He came in with the Pokemon cards, and he was showing us all and telling us all about Pokemon cards, and he gave everybody in our class doubles because everybody wanted them. So everybody got hyped up on Pokemon cards, and within a week, after being hyped up from this new kid who was into Pokemon, everybody had at least one deck or a couple decks of Pokemon cards by the end of the week. So I ask you, Kyle, were you into Pokemon cards? Do you remember the day you were introduced to Pokemon cards? Because that's usually everyone's starting point with cards. I know people collect my dad collected baseball cards. He still has like a whole box full of baseball cards and stuff like that, or sports cards people sometimes start out with. But let's just start off with Pokemon. Because I think that's where a lot of people our age started. So do you remember first being introduced to Pokemon cards? What was your experience, and how did it happen?
I remember 3rd grade Pokemon Blue, playing it on the bus. I remember as a kid I always wanted a base set Blastoise. And I remember I had a couple, and then I will never forget this, but I remember, I won't say his name, I don't know his last name, but I remember this kid had a Charizard, base set Charizard.
The holographic Charizard?
Holographic Charizard. Card, yeah.
That's the holy grail back then of all Pokemon cards back in the day, folks.
It was not a first edition, though, but it was still pretty cool. And I remember he traded it for a bunch of cards in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And one of those cards was a Pidgeot. And I remember people, and even looking back at it now, were like, that's a terrible decision. But I remember even when Pokemon cards were getting like banned because some people unfortunately had their cards get stolen.
Yeah.
And it's
parents and teachers. I went to a Catholic school, so they banned that stuff right away.
One of the funniest things to me though is like I couldn't afford Blastoise at base set as a kid, but as an adult, I have a PSA 8 Blastoise graded, and I bought it for $41, and I just saw one sell for like $255. So there's still a great, depending on what you get, especially that base set, there's still a great investment, especially when they're graded.
I had a holographic Blastoise.
You did?
I did, because I don't think those weren't that hard to find compared to like the Charizard. I can't remember if I had a Venusaur. Maybe I had a non-holo Venusaur. It's hard to remember. I remember I had a Poliwrath that was holographic. I did have a Mewtwo. I think it was holographic.
I still have a bunch of my Pokemon cards from when I was a kid.
See, I gave all my cards away.
I have a bunch.
I
know you got. I had a bunch of them, and I want to have some. Some I've had for a long time, and I want to ship some of them off to get graded.
Yeah.
My sister, I think, had a Shining Charizard though.
Yeah.
And she gave it away, or I think she sold it or whatnot. And looking back at it now, I was
wait. She had it.
She had a Shining, it said Shining Charizard. It wasn't from base set; it was a different one.
But it wasn't holographic.
I think it was holographic. She sold a bunch of her cards and just like.
I think I had the Dark Charizard.
Because, or maybe that's what she has something.
Yeah.
I know now, just trying to like there's certain ones that I want to collect.
Yeah.
I recently. A Pokemon card sold for like $35,000.
Yeah.
It was like a tournament reward card. I saw it on eBay, but I still look on eBay for them occasionally because there are, like I said, there are some I still do.
I mean, that was like money back in the day, honestly. Like, that was like kid cash, you know? Like, people constantly traded with one another with that kind of stuff. I had like a holographic Articuno and I think a Zapdos, but I don't know. I had what's the flame one? Why can't I remember the flame bird? Moltres. I did have that card, but I don't think it was holographic. Like certain cards I remember having as holographics, and I had a really good deck. I had a really good like collection. I mean, no one played the game. No one played the Pokemon game. Everyone collected the cards. It's just just collect the cards. But I remember the cards being banned and kids getting into fights and people being accused and stuff like that. I remember like I have one story like I went to the bathroom. I asked my friend to watch my cards, and then all of a sudden, like one of my cards was like stolen or something like that. This one kid all of a sudden had doubles of one of the cards I was missing. I was like, "Hey, I think you might have took my card," and it turned into like a parents getting involved and stuff like that. And the kid was like in tears and shit.
Did he end up taking your card?
I mean, like he had it was the movie Mew, the legendary.
Oh yeah, the ancient Mew.
Yeah, the ancient Mew, and then he didn't mention that he had doubles, and then all of a sudden, like I came back from that, all of a sudden he has like doubles of that card, and then mine's missing. So I'm not saying he's guilty, but the evidence says that. But,
right.
And that would happen. I mean, did you have cards getting stolen? Or getting any fights or something like that with the Pokemon?
I never did. I never had that problem, fortunately. Probably because I was insanely very overprotective of that shit, and I was not going to let anyone.
I had a good collection. I really did.
One of my favorite cards that I have, though, I'll have to show it to you eventually. I have it in my binder at my house.
Yeah.
But I still have a Shining Gyarados.
I think I did have a holographic one of those too.
And it's so cool. I still have some of the original ones from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's still fun to collect Pokemon cards because, like I said, I still do, and there are still some I want.
Yeah.
But it's funny because a lot of the Pokemon cards, I go for the aesthetic, and I want to eventually get some how I have some really cool Pokemon figures, and just incorporate I want to get some PSA stands.
Did you collect Pokemon figures too?
Oh yeah.
Since we are a toy channel.
I still think the greatest, or one of the greatest fast food toys of all time was that first Pokemon thing from Burger King.
Yeah, the ball that came with it.
And there's still some I want from that. I still want the light ups like Mewtwo and stuff like that.
Did you I got these things from Drug Mart. They were like keychains with a Pokeball, and you open it up, you come with a Pokemon little figure. I got those from Drug Mart, and I had there was a lot of them I collected, and it was like a little figure within the Pokemon Pokeball, and you could like press the button and it opened. And I remember the Burger King toys. I did collect those too, and I remember the action figures where they kind of looked like the characters more so on the card but also on TV as well. So I collected those figures as well. Those were fun. I had a whole bunch of them, and those were the Pokemon toys I collected. Just the little figures, the fast food toys, the little things from Drug Mart. You open them up and stuff like that. I have a question for you because everyone has a different answer to this one. Where did you buy your Pokemon cards? I mean,
I want to say Toys R Us. A lot of them were from Toys R Us.
Toys R Us. I got mine from a couple places. It depends on what deck you got from who. There was an ice cream shop that was also a card store selling cards, and I'd buy Pokemon cards. It was in Garfield. It's closed now. It's long gone. But they would sell ice cream, but they also sell cards, so we'd also buy Pokemon cards from that place. So that was cool. It was on a corner from my mom's house. And also, I think Drug Mart had a couple of them. I buy a couple pack from the corner drugstore. You know, that was convenient. And also an antique mall. Antique mall had this though. It was different. They had Japanese cards in
Oh, I
Japanese.
remember when we would find like finding the Japanese cards was so cool.
Yeah, because they'd be behind a case and you'd be like, I want a Japanese pack. And oh man, when you saw that, that was so cool because you'd be like, oh, it's Japanese. And it was weird because you knew what the character was. It was just in Japanese, but then that like the foil on the card was super like shiny and it was just so different, you know.
One of the funniest things is just thinking about the fact that like Pokemon was one of my first nerd loves
Yeah,
as a kid, and I still love it all these years later. And like we still, occasionally play the Pokemon Go and whatnot.
yeah. Oh well, yeah. I mean, Pokemon Go, yeah, it's a fun game. That added a whole nother nostalgia to it. However, the game hasn't been as exciting because, obviously because of COVID, but like they don't release as many new Pokemon as they used to. Like the game has kind of fell a little flat
Right.
for me. But you also got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You are a Yu-Gi-Oh! You and our friend CJ are like Yu-Gi-Oh! Scholars. I didn't get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because to me that was like the same thing. Just didn't get into it. I just kind of like I'm not getting back into it again. But you know a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh!
The crazy thing is, I think it was actually the highest selling card game ever.
My brother got into Yu-Gi-Oh!
I was really good at Yu-Gi-Oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays they've added so many different elements that
Yeah.
it's not the same. I liked when the games were like more strategic with like traps and like spell cards and whatnot. One of the funniest things was Yu-Gi-Oh actually called their spell cards magic cards.
Oh, really?
And they had to change it because there's already Magic the Gathering.
Really?
Yep.
That is interesting.
I actually have some original cards that say Magic,
Yeah.
and then that same card later
Oh,
that
really?
says like a spell.
So how long was that before they had to change it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Huh, that's interesting. To me, I just see it as the same thing as Pokemon. So how is it different?
In a lot of ways, it's similar. Like you can put characters on there, and then you sacrifice those characters for like larger characters, more power,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just have traps, which can have different abilities. Same as spells. Traps have to be laid down, and then you just like activate it depending on what it says.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because like a lot of those cards aren't. There's some that are still worth a pretty penny, but a lot of those cards aren't worth nearly as much as like Pokemon cards still are.
And the rare ones are what? Dark Magician,
Oh, there's like it depends on what it is,
Blue
but
Eyes
like
White
yeah,
Dragon.
Dark Magician Girl, and there's a bunch of different ones.
Huh. It was were those pretty much the two rarest? And
Some of them, yeah, a lot of the hollow ones and stuff. It just depends. There was some cool McDonald's ones,
yeah.
but yeah, no, a lot of different stuff. It,
Now
it was it was fun.
I noticed more people play the game to that one than just collect the cards. So
Yeah,
that one, like people actually played the game. So it was pretty much you just battling other people with the cards, pretty much
yeah,
similar to Magic the Gathering.
yeah, it was cool. I loved battling people at school and whatnot, and it was like middle school was fun from that perspective. And
Right.
like middle school, obviously middle school sucks,
Yeah.
but like I should reword that and say it made middle school tolerable.
Now, did you collect toys from Yu-Gi-Oh or anything, or watch the show?
I loved the show.
It was just kind of weird because like I was all in on Pokemon like that, but then when I saw Yu-Gi-Oh, it just didn't appeal to me. It looked just pretty much either the same or just looked weirder than Pokemon.
The cool thing though is they never there's actually Yu-Gi-Oh season 1, which they have not made an English version of. That's like really really dark,
Yeah.
and it's really cool.
Well, I never got into Magic the Gathering, so I know our friend
I
Marco did.
tried.
You did? I didn't
I
know.
tried for like a short while. I was like, oh, maybe I'll try that, and then I was just like, ugh, it's just so boring.
Boring to you. Yeah, I mean, not every card game gets you. I mean, it's funny because like as you move, like as I went into college, I remember kids were playing Magic the Gathering at the bottom level of Tri-C, where all the vending machines were. So like, there's always an area wherever you go from like middle school to high school or college. There's always a group of people gathered around playing some card game in some form or facet. But no, I mean, I will honestly say, card games, whether like Magic the Gathering, keep a lot of comic shops alive. Like I know Marcus sells a lot of Magic cards up at Ground Zero. A little shout out to him. I mean, it's a cool hobby. I like it. I mean, the little thing is like it's a risk buy because you don't know what you're buying because every pack is a blind pack.
That's why, like, as an adult, I don't really buy the packs, and if I want a card, I will just go on eBay and just look it up and just type in like PSA, whatever.
Right, and that's not a bad way to go. I mean, people do buy individual cards. I see that happen at Ground Zero. I see that happen at Kid Force Collectibles. I see people try to sell their cards. I hear stories about people flipping out that they can't sell their cards. It's like, well, they're not. It's all about condition. It's all about, you know, what is it? Is it a foil card? Is it a holographic or whatnot? But that is the card industry. It's very similar in some ways to the comic book condition industry and stuff like that. And yeah, I remember buying the plastic inserts where you just put the card in the plastic and you couldn't crease the card, you couldn't bend the card, you don't want to rip the card.
I have one of those right now.
So that's
and it's still going for a good amount.
$155 with a Shining Gyarados.
Yeah, with 19 bids right now.
So we're almost wrapping up cards. How far did you go collecting cards for Pokemon Generation? Like, I only went up to Johto.
I went up to what was the third one? Be Kanto? No, Kanto's the first one. I went up to Hoenn. Was it Hoenn?
Maybe it was Hoenn.
Whatever the hell the third one
generation.
was.
So you went like one generation further than me.
And now it's like there's some
I did like the first two generations of Pokemon. That was my favorite, and I watched the show. So, and I played the video game too, the Game Boy Color. Catching Pokemon on your Game Boy and trading with that. I mean, it was just like you did it with like toys and video. It was such an interesting time because it took over television, toys, and video games and cards. It was in so many facets, which is such brilliant marketing. I never seen anything franchise like that. Marketed in that many different avenues. I mean, yeah, Marvel has a lot of stuff, but I mean, just stuff like that. Just like cards. I mean, you get the best of all worlds. You get all the nerd worlds. You have toys, cards, video games, TV show, movies. They did movies, and and fast food toys. It was everywhere. It was really unlike anything most people saw. I remember my grandparents or adults called it Pokemon. So a lot of people called it Pokemon, or they'd make Brock jokes.
I still make Brock jokes.
They make Brock
jokes. You've been my best friend, what, at least 15 years, something like that. And I remember the first time I met you, I was like, oh, Brock, like from Pokemon.
Yeah, everyone says that to me. And then when they first meet me, or most people do.
Oh yeah, and then
why don't you open your eyes?
Or like where I posted that one classic video that I found on YouTube where it's like, my trusty frying pan becomes a drying pan, or then I found that meme one time where it was like what I see, and then it was like what Brock sees. It was like the little.
Or people always tell me like, "Where's your Onyx?" and stuff like that. Just these dumb jokes that you hear 100 times. And if your name's Brock.
And then I actually got you a Brock action figure.
Yeah. So all right, wrapping up on Pokemon, and now we're moving on to Star Wars. Star Wars, very interesting in the toy world. Huge brand, everything like that. And everybody likes Star Wars, pretty much, in some way, shape, or form. Some like other material more so than others, but also some other people like certain trilogies more so than others. So, Kyle, I start off with the original trilogy. When was the first time you saw the, what was the first Star Wars movie you saw? But, what was your first time seeing a Star Wars movie?
I remember I watched it with my dad on VHS. God, that makes me feel so old saying the words VHS.
Yeah.
But my dad and I had a blast. We watched the first three, which were awesome. Empire Strikes Back is still, I think, one of the not just great. I don't think it's just the greatest Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the greatest movies. Period.
Yeah.
And then you watch the prequels, and then some people were like, "Oh, prequels suck," and it's like some aspects of the prequels do suck.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny, I think, with how bad the Disney ones were.
Mm-hmm.
People, for the most part, people have new appreciation for the prequels. But I always loved the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one had so many missed opportunities.
Yeah.
And then the third one was fine. But the first one, even though it wasn't perfect, Darth Maul, I mean, you see my shirt, it's a Darth Maul shirt.
Yeah.
Darth Maul is still my favorite character of all time. But no, my dad was the one who introduced me to Star Wars. And it's been one of my favorite nerd properties still. I mean, McDonald's right now has the Star Wars things, and I got a little Boba Fett, and I got Darth Vader, and those were the two I wanted.
Yeah, same thing. I got the same story. My dad introduced me to the original trilogy. I watched that, and that was fun. And I will say the original trilogy is the best. I think it's the best. It's just the best because it's made by George Lucas and it's so much of him, and it's a great trilogy, the original trilogy. It ends with a twist. Darth Vader kind of like turning good against his master.
Spoiler
Oh yeah, spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Return of the Jedi
50
yet,
years after the
right?
fact.
But just that was so much George Lucas, and he tells a great story. What he calls it is a space soap opera, which it is, and it's so very symbolic and deep and stuff like that. And I know like literary scholars won't agree, but it is very deep. It's full of betrayal. It's full of love and adventure and finding yourself in a galaxy far, far away.
And then even just like little things like
I do
the
agree.
Wampa. I still love the Wampa.
Yeah, like weird creatures and aliens. That cantina scene very memorable and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like the cool alien aspect, the fact that it's a western in space. Han Solo's my favorite character. Just the ships and everything are really cool. It just takes you to that other world, and I think it's just so it's like I'm not a Star Trek fan, but so like I think most people love Star Wars. I watched Star Trek as a kid. It just didn't grab me. I'd fall asleep during every episode, but just like the fact that it's just so very interesting and adventurous. And I do like the original trilogy. I think that's the best, and I think George Lucas did his best work there. You know, and you have these different droids and aliens, and just the fact that the writing and the humor of the original trilogy is still, authentic and great. I mean, I know they remastered it and redone it and re-added stuff so many times, but honestly, I just think, no matter what version you're watching, I think original trilogy just takes the cake and is truly memorable. I will say Empire Strikes Back is in fact in all film the best sequel to an original movie. Where I mean, I'm not just saying the sequel is better than the original. I'm just saying like it's the best sequel, like compared to any
Where
sequel
the
out there.
sequel outshines it.
Yeah,
I would
outshines it, but I mean, it is obviously better, but it is the best sequel to a movie.
I
Period.
would agree with that. It would
Period.
be up there with Captain America 2 as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying Empire Strikes Back is the best sequel, period.
It was so much fun too. Like it's ironic. I hate snow, but I love Hoth. Hoth is my favorite
Yeah,
Star Wars
and you had
place.
those cool walkers and stuff like the probe droids and the carbonite thing, the bounty hunter, Boba Fett and stuff like that. And yeah, Jabba the Hutt in the third movie. I did like the third one the best as a kid. But then as you get older, you start to notice and see different things. I do like the third one, and I do like the second one. I mean, it's hard. I like them for different reasons, but I think the second one universally is the best. But I think my favorite might be still Return of the Jedi, or it would be Empire Strikes Back. But I kind of probably have to go with Empire Strikes Back because the fact is, like, when you first see that where Darth Vader says, "Luke, I am your father," you think he's lying or something, and you're like, "There's some sort of catch." You don't really understand it as a kid, but then as an adult, you're like, "Holy crap, he's telling the truth!" And it's just so it was such a shakeup, when he says, "I am your father," and it's like, what? that opens a whole other wormhole of like Luke asking questions and being confused and stuff like that.
It was like,
I mean, it
no.
totally deepens the storyline, the original trilogy, on so many levels. So, and now moving to the prequels, I like the prequels. I remember the marketing towards the Phantom Menace was just bonkers. It was on Pepsi cans and Lay's and buy this toy, buy that toy. It was like a new Star Wars movie coming out, and like Jar Jar's head was on some things, and like Darth Maul's head was on a lot of things, and promotional material. It was super saturated with marketing, and I remember it came out of like I think the summer of '99, and everyone was so interesting, and this characters like Princess Amidala and Jar Jar and Darth Maul. I mean, even those characters are interesting. I mean, I'm no Jar Jar fan, but
Are you sure? I know you. I know you. Deep down, you want to get that Hasbro jar. Uh, I screwed up my joke. Oh, the joys of being tired. That new figure from the Black series,
yeah,
which actually looks good, but
it looks good.
Jar
But
Jar sucks.
yeah, I'm not interested. It does look good though. It's well made. But I mean, the prequels. I mean, look at the prequels, and you're like, I think the prequels now have aged very well.
The thing that, in some ways, some things he did that was really good. Like one of the things he did was I didn't know this, but like the reason General Grievous sounds like he smokes 18 packs of cigarettes a day
Yeah.
is because I guess in the Clone Wars, Mace Windu punches him or something like that,
Yeah.
and it like, that's why he coughs. I just think for me, the number one theme I think from the prequels was missed opportunities. My top two missed opportunities are uh, the first one is Darth Maul. Got to be biased because he's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Not enough excitement. The sequence of them fighting was I feel like they should have done more with that because that was awesome.
Yeah.
To get Liam Neeson in there and everything, and I think they did a really good job choreographing it.
Yeah.
And then the next one was Christopher Lee is awesome. He literally was Saruman, and he actually fought Nazis in World War II. Like, not lying, folks. He legitimately fought the Nazis.
Yeah.
As like a secret spy or whatever for the UK. And you have him as Count Dooku, and you can just, I still love the character.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could just do so much more with Count Dooku. And then you just kind of have a boring fight with Yoda, like it was okay. And then in the third movie, spoiler alert, 20 years after the movie came out, but they killed him off so quickly in the third movie, and I'm just like, I love Christopher Lee, and it's just that kind of bummed me out.
I mean, I look at the first one. I like the first episode one. A lot of people complain. I like Darth Maul. I like that whole lightsaber scene, the Duel of Fates, and that music in the first movie. I mean, I like the pod racer scene. I think Liam Neeson's character, Qui-Gon Jinn, was great. I mean, there's just more I like in the first one than a lot of the other. I mean, like, I know you could pick it apart and criticize it, but I mean, like, overall, I saw it as a kid, so I didn't really like. I don't have like any still judgments on it or anything, like. So I did enjoy it, like I really did like the first one, and I think it was deep, and the fact that they really play into politics in the prequels, and they show more of that, how the politics fall and stuff. And then the second one is just kind of like your filler, Clone Wars and Count Dooku, and here's another Sith in black that you got to chase around, and that Sidious is talking to and whatnot, and you got the clones. And not to say that the second one was terrible, but it was just kind of boring because it was pretty much a love story. And he's just kind of like, I hate sand and stuff like that. And then what does he do? He kills a bunch of sand people, and then like his mom dies, and it's interesting and whatnot. I mean, the only thing I did hate about episode one was that they tried to replace C-3PO with Jar Jar Binks in a way, because C-3PO wasn't in that as much. But then he comes back in episode 2. And obviously you see more of the Jedi Council in the second one, and that's interesting. I mean, everyone knows pretty much Star Wars storyline, so I'm not going to read first. And then episode 3 is apparently the duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin turning to the dark side because of fear and whatnot, which I think at the end of that trilogy really picks up with Revenge of the Sith, and it really does kind of come together, and it's just really dark, and you see the Jedi and they fall. It's funny, like show like Sidious fight Mace Windu, and it's like each of those Jedi, they're Jedi masters, and they fall within like 2 seconds, like Kit Fisto, and like all these Jedi, and Mace Windu fights them for like 10 minutes in the movie. But I really do like the prequels. I think they've aged well. I think they're very deep. I think it's interesting to show some. It's more like a tragedy, showing somebody good go over to the dark side.
Right.
And then you have C-3PO and R2D2.
So how as the saying always goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Right, and it's very Shakespearean in a sense, and it's kind of like.
Plus, it's just it's cool to just think that like.
It's very similar to Paradise Lost, like Lucifer turning against God and kind of stuff like that.
And it's just cool to think that like someone had a cool idea to create such a cool, fun universe.
George Lucas shows the fall of government and the fragility of democracy and stuff like that. It's great. It's a great allegory.
Oh, speaking of that, tell your story of Jar Jar Binks with the Senate emergency powers.
Yeah, he just gives the emergency powers to Emperor Palpatine because he feels bad. I'm trying to remember what he felt bad about. Like if there was only a way, and it's like, Nisa gives the emergency powers to. He doesn't give them. He puts it on the Senate room floor, and then everyone's like, sure, why not? And then
and then even the fact with Padme, being like, oh, Jar Jar, Mr. No Senate experience,
I,
you can stand in for me.
I don't really.
That's a great idea.
I don't really get like. There's been no pushback on that. Like, okay, you have like 50. You have like 50 whatever senators from 50 states in America can't agree on anything, right? You telling me you get like star systems? They just all agree with, oh yeah, Palpatine, give him this. I think it just kind of shows lazy passive government, which
Right.
I think that's what it was, and I think George Lucas does a great job with that. I think it was kind of sad that he did sell it to Disney. I mean, the way it went down, that Disney stabbed him in the back, but he had to give it away eventually to somebody. But
Fortunately, though, Favreau is doing such a great job with The Mandalorian. But it just sucks the fact that I think Jon Favreau is awesome. I would love to meet him at a convention someday.
yeah,
But it just sucks the fact that like working with Disney sometimes I'm sure is a pain in the ass because he's a creative. I mean, think about it. I will always say Jon Favreau
yeah,
directed one of the greatest holiday movies in Elf. Direction with Iron Man is the reason why we even have a Marvel Cinematic Universe beyond Spider-Man, Blade, X-Men, and shitty Fantastic Four movies.
right.
Then he is just doing a great job with Mandalorian, and then you still have people that there's people that work for Disney that just aren't even like nerds like us.
No,
And
they're
I'm sure,
not.
and I'm sure Favreau is just like, hey, I love Star Wars. Here's why this would work. And there's the Kathleen Kennedys of the world that are just like, oh well.
I mean,
We want to do it this way. And it's
I mean, they're
no.
constantly pushing their agenda.
Right.
And it's like, stop doing that.
Right.
And
It's like, let Jon Favreau do what Jon Favreau does. He makes magic.
It's getting increasingly difficult for people to get into Star Wars again. Because I mean, like, I'm not just talking about fans. I'm talking about like directors and actors. They don't want to touch it anymore. It's like toxic now. Disney has turned Star Wars very toxic. And I'm like, first of all, if you just want my opinion on the sequel trilogy, it sucked. Okay, the sequel trilogy sucked.
Hot garbage.
It's hot garbage.
But there were some things I liked, though. I can't lie.
If you liked it, okay, good for you.
I think it was absolute ass.
Yeah.
But I loved the porgs. I can't help myself.
I mean, you go from the first movie and you're like, okay, maybe this will lead into something. A carbon copy of A New Hope.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And then Last Jedi. You go to Last Jedi. Garbage. Doesn't make any sense.
Literally.
Totally ruins the character of Luke Skywalker.
Brought in a new director and he
went his own way. And totally like took a crap on Luke Skywalker's character.
Right.
He doesn't know anything about...
Made him borderline emo.
Well, in like less than a week, Mark Hamill said, like, I was doing stuff I didn't want to do. And he's like this. It was the scene where Luke Skywalker walks past C-3PO, right? And Rian Johnson said, oh yeah, you wouldn't acknowledge him. Just don't say anything to C-3PO. And then Mark Hamill was like this. He's like, he's my friend. Like, I've known him for years. He's my droid.
Right.
I got to do something to him. So Mark Hamill did this. He's like this. Well, I'm going to do something. I can't just ignore him. He just like winks at C-3PO. That was the only time in that movie where I felt like I saw a flicker of the actual Luke Skywalker, where he winks at C-3PO like that. And that was it. The whole movie was trash. And then you go to the next movie, which was just garbage, which felt like I was watching some sort of Sesame Street skit, where everyone's just saying lines real quickly, and it was all just like hashed.
And it sucks too because Adam Driver is actually a good actor.
I have no problem with the actors in the movie. I think all the actors did great. I just think they just had a crappy script and crappy directing.
Right.
Under crappy leadership under Kathleen Kennedy.
Finn should have been an amazing character.
Yeah.
You have a guy who escapes a stormtrooper. Why didn't I find out just more about how he became a stormtrooper? Like, why don't I find out more? Why, I want more. And then Rey.
Yeah.
Why not just have Rey just turn evil and then break free from the evil eventually? That'd be great.
Or have Finn steal some plans or something. Like, why does it have to be BB-8? Like, we're chasing a droid around again. Like, we just saw that. And then you blew up a bigger Death Star. Like, it's just lazy writing. And it's not even...
to the point where they brought back Palpatine and made him like a puppet, which I love Palpatine. I think the actor who does him does a great job. But...
They asked him to come back.
Pulled it out of their ass.
That was not planned.
Oh, I know.
They
said
called him and said, can you be in this Star Wars movie? What is that? There was no plan. There was no... It wasn't part of George Lucas's. They backstabbed him. And... They said, oh, yeah, you'll be part of it. And they're like, nah, not really, after the ink was dried on the contract. And then on top of that, everything's like getting like really, like Solo lost money. You know, the Han Solo lost movie. I mean, Rogue One was the only like
Solo
success.
was absolute garbage, except for, once again, a little biased, but except for the Darth Maul scene. The Darth Maul scene was awesome, but other than that, it sucked.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
boring.
I mean, it's just you get into franchise fatigue, and you know it's not really doing very well because you know they're not selling toys. You know, the toys aren't selling.
The new toys.
The new toys, yeah, the new
with
toys.
The exception of
and the Star Wars department has gotten smaller and shrunk throughout the years.
It's funny though, like the only new toys that are really selling, like you remember we could find all the Rays and the Fins and whatnot.
Yeah,
but the Mandalorian figures are actually hard to find because it's a quality program.
Well, they're not even making those figures anymore. They're not making the Fins and the Poes and the Rose Ticos and you know they're not making them. And you know what? I've noticed more Star Wars collectors sell those figures from anything in the sequel trilogy. Nobody wants those figures.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it.
And Hasbro knows it because they just said we're not making any money.
Well,
they came out and said that flat out.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like from the newest movies, the only things I like from the newest movies as far as figures go is I love the BB-8. I can't help myself. I do. I think it's really cool. I love the Porgs. You know, as far as the figures go. And then Snoke was a missed opportunity. But the throne, at least the throne is cool because now my Mezco Red Skull is on the throne.
That was so cringy. When it was like this, who is Snoke? It was in the beginning of the third movie, and it's Palpatine's voice, right? And he's like this, I am Snoke. I'm like, this is BS. I'm like, talk about lazy writing. But then it also goes on past that. It goes on past the movies. It goes on past that because it's like, it's in the comics. Like, oh, here's a guy and a girl, and they're driving around in a ship with their rock geode. I'm like, a rock? Rock is a character?
Right.
In a comic book, and like the Star Wars stuff isn't selling, and it's like it's getting very woke and identity politics, and I don't like to talk about politics on this channel, but like I'm just saying that doesn't equal a good story. That does not match what a good story is, because you got to have a good script and you got to have compelling characters. That's the recipe to success. And honestly, did you hear what happened during the Disney shareholder meeting, where one guy asked, "Hey, when is Kathleen Kennedy going to be fired?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, thank you for saying that, because, you know, I mean, because she does need to be fired. And then you had the whole thing with Gina Carano. I mean, that was totally biased because Pedro Pascal said something, you know, was, you know, liable to get fired based on what he said.
Right.
And he pretty much just, I wouldn't say he said the same thing, but he said something a lot more labeling and worse to a group of people than she did, because she just, you know, she was just speaking her mind, and then you fire her over it, and then it gets a bunch of backlash on top of it, and on top of that, it just got ratioed, where now everything Disney releases on YouTube gets more downvotes.
Right.
And it's happened, and now YouTube's considering, you know, oh, we might get rid of the downvotes or the dislikes. I mean, you should have the dislike button. I would like to know people's feedback on this channel, whether it's good or bad, whether you should vote thumbs up or thumbs down. You deserve that freedom and deserve, you know, it's market research to say, hey, is this channel doing well? Is this episode doing well? Give people the voice in their opinion. I mean, I just don't like the way Disney's been handling it. They got to get someone new in there. Get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not saying Jon Favreau is the answers to all the problems, but he is doing a great job on The Mandalorian. I am thoroughly enjoying Mandalorian, but there's a lot I'm not enjoying about Star Wars. I mean, it's just kind of like at this point, it feels like the story behind Star Wars seems to be the entertainment value of it. I think they're doing a lot of stuff that's clickbait. I don't know if they're really serious about stuff, but your final thoughts as before we close out here on just Disney handling Star Wars after everything I've mentioned, whether I know you may not, you know or may not know, but just your final thoughts.
I think they've been really lackadaisical with their approach. I think they've just been really just, you know, not really wanting to listen to outside feedback. The only things that they've done well with Star Wars are The Mandalorian with Jon Favreau, and I love that on Disney Plus they've released a lot of the vintage collection.
Yeah.
With like the show Droids coming, they said later this year, and then they released Ewoks.
Yeah.
And so that's cool.
I mean, final thought on the toys is just they keep releasing Han, Luke, Leia, vintage, and here's the card back here, and here's this alien. I mean, that's another thing is like in the new movies you don't see that many new aliens and stuff like that, more creatures and stuff like that.
I know you and I. One of the characters you and I really want is Watto.
Yeah, or Princess Queen Amidala in the red dress.
Yeah, like
That's
because
plenty of figures.
it's funny because a lot of times it feels like import companies
I feel like
are releasing characters before.
I honestly feel like Hasbro's Star Wars team doesn't have it together.
Right. Well, I will say though, I'm super excited.
Like they seem a little scatterbrained.
I'm. It's somewhat lazy because they've already done the character, but at the same time, I'm a sucker for it because I love the character of Lando.
Yeah.
But to get that Return of the Jedi Lando's cool.
Yeah.
And then I will admit, I'm all it is a repaint, but I'm super excited to get those Kenner figures, the original Kenner colors.
Yeah.
You and I both agree that they were restricted in some of the characters they had. They had to push the new movie characters.
Yeah, and that's
Which I understand because
typical.
of their the licensing, and that's just I know
They
there's
gotta pump up the new stuff.
right.
I mean that's expected, but give us some of the old stuff. I mean they're giving us characters I never heard of.
Right, because even some of the little things like I've never seen one in person, but fortunately you found one for me. But you and I both love that probe droid. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, well, that one was actually pretty good. Like it was released enough where enough people got it, and there were some of the leftover. However, there needs to be more Mandalorian figures.
Right, because now
if you're listening, Hasbro. Yeah, I mean it's good. I mean it's a great show.
I
hope it continues, and it's going to be hard in the future because there's no baby. Well, that story ends. There's no Gina Carano. There's no Ugnaught. There's a lot of characters' story arcs end, and it's just kind of like two characters. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Jon Favreau and his team against Kathleen Kennedy's labeling cancellation team. I don't support Gina Carano's firing at all. I think she's a good person based on everything I've read and everything I've seen from her. I have your opinion for what it is. It's unfortunate that it's kind of gotten to this point, but I am for Jon Favreau. Honestly, I think if he gets fired or if The Mandalorian gets canceled, for me, I think that's it for Star Wars. I think I'm pretty much done with it at that point. But however, it doesn't mean you can't be optimistic. Hopefully things change and Disney realizes things need to change, and I think Mandalorian doesn't get canceled and leads to other projects, and those projects are good, and we'll see. I mean, if this future stuff's good, then it's good. But if it's not, then I guess I'll save a lot of time from watching stuff. All right. So that's our topic on Star Wars and trading cards for episode 19 of Talking Toys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button. We would like some more subscribers. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Really, guys, the best thing you could do is share this channel, expose it with your friends, your family, if you any geek, nerd culture, or any toy groups or nerd groups or anything like gaming and stuff like that. Just if you're into this kind of stuff, we do want to hear your opinion. Feel free to agree or you could disagree. I mean, we're just a friendly chewing the fat nerd podcast.
Your friendly neighborhood podcast.
Right. Don't take anything too personal. We're kind of.
That's the fun of being. That's the fun of and it should be the fun for everyone of being a nerd. Is like,
yeah.
I could say something like Batman's the greatest superhero of all time.
Yeah.
But then you disagree with me because you think Spider-Man's the greatest superhero, and then our buddy Marco disagrees with both of us.
Yeah.
Thinks the Punisher is the greatest superhero, and it's like that's all part of the fun, So
I would like to debate with you on some stuff.
Right.
Hopefully in future, I would like to do this live, like a live debate eventually.
Yeah.
I just would. First of all, I would like to get more subscribers to do that kind of stuff. So if you guys just hit that like and subscribe button, share the channel. It's the best thing you could do. We're just, we want to get your opinion, your feedback, get into it. It's just a friendly podcast. This nerd stuff. Think of this podcast portion as a sports talk radio show, only with toys and nerds and comics and movies and stuff like that. So, I mean, with that being said, it's a fun thing to do. We've been doing it for a while. We're glad we're back, and we're glad to have you back with us. Our next episode will be episode 20, our 20th episode. Finally getting to 20, which will be best toy gifts that you've ever received either during the holidays or birthdays. And we're just going to be talking about the state of DC Comics, kind of like how we did with Star Wars in this podcast channel. So just talking about DC Comics, where they're going, because they're kind of like all over the place now with what they're releasing, just games and movies and stuff like that. So, we don't talk enough about DC. We do talk a lot about Marvel and Star Wars on this channel. So we just want to switch gears a little bit here and do a little bit more DC talk. We know you guys out there are pretty hoping to hear more DC talk and like DC Comics. I know I like them. closing out the episode here. I'm Brock Lauer.
I'm Kyle Walters.
And we'll see you in the toy aisle.